Expand your vocabulary with our core 2,000 words ebook. It's free and packed with essential expressions that you'll use on a daily basis. Start building your vocabulary today. Click the link in the description below to download your free German ebook before it's gone.
Welcome to Can Do German by GermanPod101.com.
Hallo zusammen, ich bin Katrin Preußler. Hi everyone, I'm Katrin Preußler. In this lesson, you'll learn how to tell someone where you're from in German.
Want to know if your German skills are improving and what your real learning level is? Get your language skills assessed with our free level assessment test. Just click the link in the description and sign up for a free lifetime account to get assessed.
This is Mark Lee, and he's on a plane to Germany. Marvin Moss, a passenger sitting next to him, asks, "Where are you from?"
Woher kommst du?
Listen to the conversation and focus on Mark's response. Note, the speakers in this conversation use informal German. Ready?
Woher kommst du?
Ich komme aus New York.
Once more with the English translation.
Woher kommst du?
Where are you from?
Ich komme aus New York.
I'm from New York.
Let's take a closer look at the conversation.
Do you remember how Marvin Moss asks, "Where are you from?"
Woher kommst du?
First is
Woher?
meaning where from.
Woher? Woher?
Next is
Kommst.
come, as in you come from.
Kommst. Kommst. Kommst.
Is from the verb
Kommen.
meaning to come, as in to come from, in this context.
Kommen.
Last is
Du.
you.
Du. Du.
Note, in German,
Du.
is used when addressing someone in a casual conversation. Altogether,
Woher kommst du?
literally, where from come you? But it translates as, where are you from?
Woher kommst du?
Remember this question. You'll hear it again later in this lesson.
Now, let's take a closer look at the response.
Do you remember how Mark Lee says, "I am from New York"?
Ich komme aus New York.
First is
Ich.
I.
Ich. Ich.
Next is
Komme.
come, as in I come from.
Komme. Komme. Komme.
Is from the verb
Kommen.
to come.
Kommen.
Next is
Aus.
meaning from in this context.
Aus. Aus.
Last is the city,
New York.
New York.
New York. New York.
Altogether,
Ich komme aus New York.
this literally means I come from New York, but it translates as I'm from New York.
Ich komme aus New York.
The pattern is
Ich komme aus Location.
I'm from location.
Ich komme aus Location.
To use this pattern, you can simply replace the location placeholder with the name of your hometown. Note, this pattern requires a proper noun and works with the names of cities, villages, towns, and countries. Imagine you're from Sydney. In German,
Sydney. Sydney. Sydney.
say, I'm from Sydney. Ready?
Ich komme aus Sydney.
I'm from Sydney.
Ich komme aus Sydney.
Note on German language formality. Mark and Marvin are using informal language in this conversation. So Marvin asks,
Woher kommst du?
"Where are you from?" To make the question formal, replace
Kommst du?
with the
Kommen Sie?
therefore in a formal setting.
Woher kommen Sie?
Where are you from?
Woher kommen Sie?
Please be aware of this, as you will see it again later in the lesson. Let's look at some examples. Listen and repeat or speak along with the native speakers.
Ich komme aus New York. Ich komme aus New York.
Ich komme aus Kiel und du? Ich komme aus Kiel und du?
Ich komme aus Seattle. Ich komme aus Seattle.
Ich komme aus London. Und Sie? Ich komme aus London. Und Sie?
Ich komme aus Deutschland. Ich komme aus Deutschland.
Ich bin Australierin. Ich bin Australierin.
Did you notice how the last speaker uses a different pattern?
Wondering how you can master these conversations even faster? Here's how. 1. Read along. You get the lesson conversation and translations inside our dialogue tool, so that you see each word as you hear it and understand it all. 2. Practice speaking. By shadowing what you hear, you can also record and compare yourself with native speakers with our voice recording tools. And 3. Take our assessment tests and see how much you remember. These tools are part of our Can-Do course. Just click the link in the description to get them.
Ich bin Australierin.
I'm Australian.
Ich bin Australierin.
First is
Ich.
I.
Ich.
Next is
Bin.
am, as in I am.
Bin. Bin. Bin.
Is from the verb
Sein.
meaning to be.
Sein.
Together it's
Ich bin.
I am.
Ich bin.
After this is
Australierin.
meaning Australian.
Australierin. Australierin.
Note
Australierin.
is feminine, as the speaker is female. This pattern is
Ich bin Nationality.
I'm nationality. To use this pattern, simply replace the nationality placeholder with your nationality. Note, this pattern requires a noun, and its gender will depend on the gender of the speaker. Mia Martin uses a feminine noun
Australierin.
to identify herself.
Ich bin Australierin.
A male speaker from Australia would use the masculine noun
Australier. Ich bin Australier.
I'm Australian.
Ich bin Australier.
You can use this pattern to answer the question.
Woher kommst du?
You should be aware of this pattern, but you won't need it for this lesson. Let's review the new vocabulary.
Kiel.
Kiel,
Kiel. Kiel. Seattle.
Seattle,
Seattle. Seattle. London.
London,
London. London. Deutschland.
Germany,
Deutschland. Deutschland. Australia.
male Australian citizen.
Australia. Australia. Australierin.
Female Australian citizen.
Australierin. Australierin. Und du?
And you? Informal language.
Und du? Und sie?
And you? Formal language.
Und sie?
Let's review. Respond to the prompts by speaking aloud, then repeat after me, focusing on pronunciation. Ready? Do you remember how to say New York? New York. New York. And how to say from? Aus. Aus. Do you remember how to say I? Ich. Ich. Do you remember how Mark says, I'm from New York? Literally, I come from New York.
Ich komme aus New York.
Ich komme aus New York. Do you remember the informal way to say you? Du. Du. And how to say where from? Woher? Woher? And do you remember how Marvin Mask asks, where are you from?
Woher kommst du?
Woher kommst du? Do you remember how to say London? London. London. And how to say Seattle? Seattle. Seattle. Do you remember how to say Germany? Deutschland. Deutschland. And the formal way to say you? Sie. Sie. Do you remember the formal way to ask, where are you from? Woher kommen Sie? Woher kommen Sie? And the informal way to ask, and you? Und du? Und du?
Let's practice. Imagine you're Jack Jones from London. Respond to Marvin Moss's question. Ready?
Woher kommst du?
Ich komme aus London.
Listen again and repeat.
Ich komme aus London. Ich komme aus London.
Let's try another. Imagine you're Emma Eckert from Seattle. Respond and add the informal, and you? Ready?
Woher kommst du?
Ich komme aus Seattle und du?
Listen again and repeat.
Ich komme aus Seattle und du? Ich komme aus Seattle und du?
Let's try one more. Imagine you're Katrin Preußler from Germany. Ready?
Woher kommen Sie?
Ich komme aus Deutschland.
Listen again and repeat.
Ich komme aus Deutschland. Ich komme aus Deutschland.
This is the end of this lesson.
Now, here's what you can do to cement this conversation in your head. Review the conversation with our dialogue tool and lesson transcripts. Study the key words and phrases with our spaced repetition flashcards. Review the key grammar and cultural tips inside the lesson notes. And test yourself with our assessment tests. So click the link in the description right now and sign up for your free lifetime account to access our Can-Do course.
Now you know how to say where you're from in German. That's all there is to it. Keep practicing and move on to the next lesson.
Want to master grammar so you can speak properly, express yourself better, and understand more? In this video, I'll show you how to master grammar with our lessons and learning program. Let's begin. Number 1. Listen to the lesson conversations and explanations. In every lesson, you learn a conversation. Then, our teachers break down every word and grammar rule. So you're actually learning grammar rules in the context of conversations, and you can easily see how they're used. Once you're done, review the conversation again and again to remember what you've learned. Number 2. Read the bonus explanations and tutorials. With the lesson notes, you get extra grammar explanations and examples that are not presented in the lesson. After you're done with the lesson, read the lesson notes for extra review. You can even save them as PDFs so that you can access them anytime. Number 3. Leave a comment on the lesson. Once you've learned a grammar point, be sure to use it. Leave a comment in the comments section. Write some example sentences for practice. Our teachers will review your comment and give you feedback. Number 4. Unlock even more grammar lessons. If you want to find all of the grammar lessons available, visit our lesson library. Under Category, choose Grammar. You'll get all of the pathways and lessons dedicated to helping you learn and master sentence patterns and grammar points. So, if you're ready to finally learn a new language the fast, fun, and easy way, sign up for your free lifetime account by clicking on the link in the description. Signing up takes less than 30 seconds, and you'll start speaking from your very first lesson. If you enjoyed these tips, hit the like button, share it with anyone who's trying to learn a new language, and subscribe to our channel. We release new videos every week. I'll see you next time. Bye!
Hallo, ich heiße Laura. Hi everybody, I'm Laura. Welcome to GermanPod101.com's Deutsch in 3 Minuten. The fastest, easiest and most fun way to learn German. In the last lesson, we learned how to be grateful to people by saying Danke. In this lesson, we learned some of the most common greetings used in Germany. Fertig? Are you ready? Los! So let's start. The most used informal greeting is Hallo. Hallo. Hallo means hi or hello. We should only use this greeting with friends or relatives. The most used formal greetings will change depending on the time of day. Let's start with Guten Tag. Guten Tag. Literally, Guten Tag means good day. As a rule of thumb, we can use Guten Tag only during the daytime, from late morning until early evening. In the morning we say Guten Morgen, good morning. Guten Morgen. During the evening we say Guten Abend. Guten Abend. Tag, Morgen and Abend is German for day, morning and evening, respectively. Easy, right? What should you say when you leave? German people usually say Auf Wiedersehen when leaving in a formal situation. Auf Wiedersehen. Auf Wiedersehen means goodbye. If we say goodbye to friends or our relatives, we use the informal word Tschüss. Tschüss. Now you can greet people in many different ways in German. Let's review them all again. First, the greetings. Informally, we simply say Hallo. Formally, use Guten Morgen in the morning, Guten Tag in the afternoon, and Guten Abend in the evening. When leaving in a formal situation, we say Auf Wiedersehen. And in an informal situation, it's Tschüss. It's easy, isn't it? Now it's time for Laura's insights. Due to a huge variety of dialects in Germany, you might hear many different greeting phrases depending on the area. In Austria and in the Catholic southern part of Germany, they even say Grüß Gott, which means greetings to God. In the past, people from the north could barely talk to people from the south, since they spoke very different languages. But nowadays, if you use these common phrases, then everyone will understand you, I'm sure. During the next lesson, we'll learn the meaning of the phrase Sprechen Sie Englisch? Do you already know it? We'll be waiting to talk about it with you in our next Deutsch in 3 Minuten lesson. Tschüss!
Hi everybody, Anja here. Welcome to Ask a Teacher, where I'll answer some of your most common German questions. The question for this lesson is, what is schon in German and how do I use it? Schon literally means yet or already, such as Hast du schon gegessen? Meaning have you eaten yet? Or Es ist schon spät. It's already late. It's a really common German expression. Idiomatically, it's often used to make a statement friendlier or add emphasis. Let's do some examples so you can learn how to use schon correctly. A sample sentence would be Es ist schon okay, which simply means it's okay. Like you would say if you were forgiving someone who has offended you. It would be possible to use the sentence Es ist okay, but this might seem a bit short and distant. You can think of it as saying, it's okay, it has already been forgiven and forgotten. Another example is schon gut, which literally translates to already good, it's okay, or apology accepted. This can be used as a response to someone apologizing for a minor mistake. For example, schon gut, mach dir keine Sorgen, which means it's okay, don't worry. If you're still upset about the situation, you can use the more curt schon gut, which applies, okay, let's not talk about it anymore and move on. You can also use this phrase, schon besser, which literally means already better. You may hear this, for example, if you receive feedback on something like a project or a report, make changes, and then present your changes to your teacher or boss. In this case, they might say, schon besser. This can come across in different ways depending on how it's said. A slow curt schon besser, emphasizing the schon, can come across as better but not good enough. But a friendly oh, das ist schon viel besser sounds much more uplifting and positive and can translate as oh, this is already much better. If you want to step up your German game a little with your friends, you can use the phrase die Sache ist schon gegessen, which literally means the thing has already been eaten. It's an idiom that actually means a negative incident has already been forgotten. Try using it the next time one of your German friends apologizes for something. One last insider hint is be careful not to confuse schon with schön, with an umlaut over the O. That means beautiful. Do you have any more questions? Leave them in the comments and I'll try to answer them. Tschüss, bis zum nächsten Mal. Bye, see you next time. Welcome to Fun and Easy German by GermanPod101.com. Do you know how to describe where you're from in German? You're about to learn this and much more, so keep watching. Hallo, ich bin Anja. Hi everyone, I'm Anja. In this lesson, you'll learn how to introduce yourself and more in German. No matter where you are in the world, you will always meet people who are interested in hearing your story. This is why learning how to ask and answer typical questions in German, like who are you and where you're from, is essential for conversing with German-speaking people. In this video, we'll teach you how to ask and answer the following questions and more in German. What's your name? How old are you? Where are you from? How's the family? What are you doing here? What do you like to do? What do you do for a living? And why are you learning German? Let's start with the question, who are you? In German, who are you is wer bist du? Wer bist du? Wer bist du? It's not a very common question, so you probably won't have to use it that much. Instead, you'll likely ask, wie heißt du? What's your name? Wie heißt du? Wie heißt du? To answer this question or to introduce yourself, you can say, for example, ich heiße Anja. My name is Anja. Ich heiße Anja. Ich heiße Anja. And of course, you'll need to replace Anja with your own name. Similarly, you can also just say, ich bin Anja. I'm Anja. Ich bin Anja. Ich bin Anja. And again, replace my name with your own. If you want to ask about someone's age, you can say, wie alt bist du? How old are you? Wie alt bist du? Wie alt bist du? To answer this question, replace 26 or 26 with your age and say, ich bin 26 Jahre alt. I'm 26 years old. Ich bin 26 Jahre alt. Ich bin 26 Jahre alt. A question that often follows the previous one is, where are you from? In German, to say, where are you from, you say, woher kommst du? Woher kommst du? Woher kommst du? There are two common ways to answer this. Ich komme aus Russland. I come from Russia. Ich komme aus Russland. Ich komme aus Russland. And ich bin Amerikaner. I'm an American. Ich bin Amerikaner. Ich bin Amerikaner. If your home country is already known, however, you may be asked a question like, welche Stadt in Spanien? Which city in Spain? Welche Stadt in Spanien? Welche Stadt in Spanien? You can then answer the question by stating the city you're from, followed by Warst du schon da? Have you been there? For example, Bilbao. Warst du schon da? Bilbao. Have you been there? Bilbao. Warst du schon da? Bilbao. Warst du schon da? And that's where the conversation can get started. If you happen to move to a different city or country, it may be helpful to know the verb wohnen, meaning to live in. Wohnen. Wohnen. For example, if you live in Munich, you can say, Jetzt wohne ich in München. I live in Munich now. Jetzt wohne ich in München. Jetzt wohne ich in München. Now we learn how to ask about the family. It's common in Germany for one of the first questions someone you've just met would ask you to be, Hast du Geschwister? Do you have siblings? Hast du Geschwister? Hast du Geschwister? And a possible answer is, Ja, ich habe einen Bruder und 2 Schwestern. Yes, I have a brother and 2 sisters. Ja, ich habe einen Bruder und 2 Schwestern. Ja, ich habe einen Bruder und 2 Schwestern. You may also want to talk about your family members as well. You can say, for example, Meine Mutter ist Juristin. My mother is a lawyer. Meine Mutter ist Juristin. Meine Mutter ist Juristin. Or, meine Schwester wohnt in Ungarn. My sister lives in Hungary. Meine Schwester wohnt in Ungarn. Meine Schwester wohnt in Ungarn. Next, let's learn how to say, What are you doing here? When translated into German, What are you doing here is Was machst du hier? Was machst du hier? Was machst du hier? If you're a traveler, a good idea is to share the length of your stay in that city and ask for some recommendations. You can say, Ich bin hier im Urlaub, which means I'm here on vacation. Ich bin hier im Urlaub. Ich bin hier im Urlaub. And then say something like, Ich bin nur für ein paar Tage hier. I'm just here for a couple of days. Ich bin nur für ein paar Tage hier. Ich bin nur für ein paar Tage hier. And remember, as you're being asked different things, you can always kindly return the question by saying, Und du? And you? Und du? Und du? To then ask for recommendations, you can say, Was soll ich hier sehen? What should I see here? Was soll ich hier sehen? Was soll ich hier sehen? As an alternative, you could mention the name of the city by asking something like, Was soll ich in Hamburg sehen? What should I see in Hamburg? Was soll ich in Hamburg sehen? Was soll ich in Hamburg sehen? This is a great way to keep the conversation going and maybe even find out about some cool local spots. If you feel like sharing your profession in German, the following question will surely come in handy. Firstly, to ask if someone's a student, you can say, Bist du ein Student? Are you a student? Bist du ein Student? Bist du ein Student? Actually, if you look very young, Germans might ask you this as well. An important point to note, however, is that Student for men or Studentin for women in German is used exclusively for university students. Younger students are instead referred to as Schüler for boys and Schülerin for girls. But there are two more ways of asking if someone's a student. You could also say, Studierst du? Do you study? Studierst du? Studierst du? Or if the person seems to be younger, Gehst du noch zur Schule? Are you still attending school? Gehst du noch zur Schule? Gehst du noch zur Schule? To say, what do you do for a living in German, you say, was machst du beruflich? What do you do for a living? Was machst du beruflich? Was machst du beruflich? The answer to this question is simple, but there is something you need to be careful about. Normally, the sentence structure of German is the same as that of English. In particular, you're able to translate word for word. For example, Ich bin ein Mann. I am a man. Ich bin ein Mann. Ich bin ein Mann. But when it comes to occupations, the article ein, eine, is dropped entirely. You would therefore say, for example, Ich bin Schriftsteller. I am a writer. Ich bin Schriftsteller. Ich bin Schriftsteller. Since every job title in German has a male and female version, though, women would instead say, Ich bin Schriftstellerin. I am a writer. Ich bin Schriftstellerin. Ich bin Schriftstellerin. If you don't want to talk about your position, you can just say the name of your company. In German, we use the preposition bei for saying you work at so-and-so company. For example, Ich arbeite bei Google. I work at Google. Ich arbeite bei Google. Ich arbeite bei Google. Another question you should know how to ask is, what do you like to do? Was machen Sie gerne? What do you like to do? Was machen Sie gerne? Was machen Sie gerne? If you like to study languages, you can then answer this question with, Ich lerne gern Sprachen. I enjoy learning languages. Ich lerne gern Sprachen. Ich lerne gern Sprachen. Without a doubt, you'll get people asking about just how far you've taken that interest. They might ask, Wie viele Sprachen sprichst du? How many languages do you speak? Wie viele Sprachen sprichst du? Wie viele Sprachen sprichst du? You can then answer this question with, for example, ich spreche Englisch, Polnisch, Arabisch und ein bisschen Deutsch. I speak English, Polish, Arabic, and a little German. Ich spreche Englisch, Polnisch, Arabisch und ein bisschen Deutsch. Ich spreche Englisch, Polnisch, Arabisch und ein bisschen Deutsch. You might also hear someone's language ability described with the verb beherrschen. Sie beherrscht 6 Sprachen fließend. She speaks 6 languages fluently. Sie beherrscht 6 Sprachen fließend. Sie beherrscht 6 Sprachen fließend. It's a pretty formal verb, and it implies a great mastery over the languages. If you have other interests aside from learning new languages, you could answer with, for example, ich besuche Kunstmuseen gern. I like going to art museums. Ich besuche Kunstmuseen gern. Ich besuche Kunstmuseen gern. The sentence structure used here is an easy way to describe something that you like to do. Just say what you do, such as, I go to museums, and then add the word gern to express that doing so is enjoyable. Another way to do this is by using the verb mögen, or to like, combined with a noun form of the activity. Here's an example. Ich mag Fotografie. I like photography. Ich mag Fotografie. Ich mag Fotografie. And lastly, something a native speaker will always ask you: why are you learning German? Warum lernst du Deutsch? Why are you learning German? Warum lernst du Deutsch? Warum lernst du Deutsch? There are, of course, different reasons as to why you want to learn the German language. In this example, let's say you're learning because your family members were ethnically German or spoke the language at home. You could then say, for example, meine Großmutter kam aus Österreich. My grandmother came from Austria. Meine Großmutter kam aus Österreich. Meine Großmutter kam aus Österreich. But what if you're really just interested in European history, or if you just enjoy traveling around? In that case, you can use a sentence like: Ich mag die deutsche Kunstgeschichte sehr gern. I really like German art history. Ich mag die deutsche Kunstgeschichte sehr gern. Ich mag die deutsche Kunstgeschichte sehr gern. Or it could be that you have a fascination with German music or film. If you like Johannes Brahms, for example, you could say: Ich finde die Musik von Brahms absolut atemberaubend. I find the music of Brahms absolutely breathtaking. Ich finde die Musik von Brahms absolut atemberaubend. Ich finde die Musik von Brahms absolut atemberaubend. All of these are valid answers. Many people may also want to know how long you've been studying German. The typical way of asking would be: Wie lange lernst du schon Deutsch? How long have you been learning German? Wie lange lernst du schon Deutsch? Wie lange lernst du schon Deutsch? You could then answer with, for example, ein bisschen mehr als ein Jahr. A little more than a year. Ein bisschen mehr als ein Jahr. Ein bisschen mehr als ein Jahr. Although it might sound a bit rude in English, German speakers might then reply with: Dafür sprichst du sehr gut. Then you already speak very well. Dafür sprichst du sehr gut. Dafür sprichst du sehr gut. Try to remember that this is just a compliment, and it is usually not seen as rude by Germans. And that's it! You now know enough to confidently introduce yourself in German. In this lesson, you learned the German translations and proper usage of the questions: What's your name? How old are you? Where are you from? How's the family? What are you doing here? What do you do for a living? What do you like to do? And why are you learning German? Want to learn German fast with PDF cheat sheets? You can get cheat sheets for all kinds of topics: travel, hobbies, love, and much more. And you learn all of the must-known words and phrases for each. Click the link in the lesson description and sign up for a free lifetime account to get them. That's it for today. See you next time. Bis bald wieder.
Hallo, ich heiße Laura. Hi everybody, I'm Laura. Welcome to GermanPod101.com's Deutsch in 3 Minuten, the fastest, easiest and most fun way to learn German. In the last lesson, we learned how to introduce ourselves in German. Today, we are going to learn how to use good manners as we thank people. Fertig? Are you ready? Los! So let's start. There are several ways to thank someone. Let's start with the easiest. It's just one word. Danke. Danke. Danke means thank you. When saying thank you very much, you just need to add sehr. Danke sehr. Sehr means a lot. So danke sehr is like saying thank you very much. During the last lesson, we discussed the informal and the formal way of speaking German. Danke is the casual way to thank someone. If you want to be more formal, there is another phrase you should use. Ich danke Ihnen. Ich danke Ihnen. Let's break this phrase down. Ich is I, and danke means thanks. Ihnen is a formal word for you in the dative case. Notice that we don't use Sie as in the last lesson. We will discuss German pronouns in more depth in a later lesson. The full sentence once again. Ich danke Ihnen. How do you answer? It's easy. Here are 2 different ways to do it. The first is bitte schön. Bitte schön. Bitte schön can be used with just about anybody. The other way to say you're welcome is the expression gern geschehen. Gern geschehen. Literally, this phrase means I liked it to happen or happened with pleasure. But it has become a common and polite way to respond to someone thanking you. So when someone says danke to us, we can simply reply with bitte schön or gern geschehen. Now it's time for Laura's insights. If you're not sure about whether to use danke or ich danke Ihnen, keeping it simple is always your safest bet. You don't have to worry about formal or informal situations. Danke can be used with just about anyone, anywhere and at any time. Do you know what Auf Wiedersehen means? In our next lesson, we'll learn this and other greetings in German. Danke und bis zur nächsten Lektion!
Expand your vocabulary with our Core 2000 Words ebook. It's free and packed with essential expressions that you'll use on a daily basis. Start building your vocabulary today. Click the link in the description below to download your free German ebook before it's gone.